Time to start.
Yes.
Everybody, this is I'm not saying her name right. She's tried to correct me and I still can't get it. I say Miłosława and she says that's good enough. But she goes by Milka. And her last name is Krogulska. I practiced. I did. Krogulska. She's practices in Warsaw, Poland. She's part of the Astrological Association of Poland, and also the school is called the Warsaw School of Astrology. Is that correct? Yes.
Yes,
She's
that's
a
correct.
principal there. And we had so much fun talking that I almost forgot that we were supposed to do an interview. But she is joining us for Borders. Is this your first time to do a Borders
Yes.
lecture?
Yes. Yes. Welcome everybody, and thank you very much for having me on Borders, because this is my first conference. So I'm very excited to be here, and I want to invite you for my lectures and other lectures during the Borders.
Yes, and by the way, her lecture is November 8th. I believe that's Sunday, and it's 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. And you guys can get up for that. That's not too early. And if you don't want to get up to it, you can still buy the lecture. And you're going to want to hear this one because it's about Mars. And none of us really know what to do with our Mars just naturally. So her lecture is called Mars in Transit, Work Fast but Think Twice. November 8th, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. So Milka, tell me about your astrology. Are you a modern astrologer, or do you have, you consign yourself to any particular group?
I'm mixed astrologer, so because I cannot tell that I'm totally traditional astrologer, and I cannot tell that I'm a humanistic astrologer, because I think that we have to take from the past what is really working, what is our tradition, and to work with these techniques during our life, during contemporary times. And humanistic astrology is other point of view for relation between human and cosmos, but it's also very, very interesting part of astrology. So I use traditional planets. I use Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus during in my practice. But I also use traditional rulership of planets and many traditional techniques. But I try to reinterpret this and use them in our life, because after discovery of trans-Saturnian planets, our life, our civilization is different than it was in antique. So we have to think about this and try to reinterpret them and use them in modern time, because my goal is in astrology is to be as much practical as you can be. Because for me, astrology is, of course, a part of spiritual practice, but also it's a kind of big calendar. So using astrology, you can tell not only about someone's character, on sometimes about destiny, if you are lucky, and this destiny wants to show you, because not necessary, it's not obvious in astrology, but I think that in everyday life, astrology is a great tool, and using this tool, we can live in a better way, we can be less stressed, and very, very more precise when we want to achieve something in life.
That's very well said. Yes. So you're very progressive as an astrologer. You're just.
I can say that for me, if persons are, of course, stuck in antiquity, it's nothing wrong in this, because this is the way astrology talk to them. When people are totally humanistic, it's also nothing bad, because this is their way to look into sky and into human psyche and heart. But for me,
I never heard anyone say it that way, but that's really good. Yeah.
But for me, the best way is to mix, maybe because I am Gemini and I have 5 planets in Gemini and Jupiter in 3rd house. So for me, mix, to join, to hear and learn new theories, it's the best way. for living and for learning, because as a Gemini, I learn all the time, and I cannot say that I am a teacher who knows everything, because obviously I'm not. And I love to teach astrology because I love to talk with people about chart, because this is the best way to learn astrology and to know better about the connection between us, sky, symbols, and the possibilities of interpretation.
That's terrific. That's great. But you picked Mars, so you would have been safe in either camp because everyone uses Mars.
Of course, you know. But when we think about serious lecture during astrological conference, usually as a teachers, we pick a very serious topic about Pluto, about Saturn, about Neptune transit. They are big transits, we know it. And I observed that Mars transits, Venus transits, Mercury transit, they are not so popular. But in everyday life, they are very, very important, because
Yes.
as probably we all know, they are the triggers.
They're more the time clock of our lives because we have so many more of them, and they touch everything in our chart so much more often, right?
Of course, because you know, Mars, it's a 2 years cycle. So we live with Mars every 2 years. So every 2 years we repeat some patterns. And during my lecture, I want first focus on the natal chart, because first I want to analyze how we feel our Mars in charts, because Mars, of course, we know it's a kind of energy we act. It's a way we achieve our goals. Mars is also the things which can make us aggressive, because when we want something, immediately we meet someone else who can say to us, you cannot have this, or I want it to. So Mars is a planet of rivalization, but also Mars is a planet of goals. And during Mars transit, usually we have to fight about something. And the key question is how to realize what's going on during this cycle. Why are you angry? Because your husband is doing something. Or why are you shouting during a professional meeting? Or why are you feel this anger inside you? But necessarily, you know, it's not always about the anger during Mars transit, because I think that Mars is a malefic planet, and this is traditional approach to
Yes.
planet Mars. You know, we all know that malefic, it's Mars and it's Saturn. As I observed, they are malefics, of course, because they can bring us very unpleasant events. But they are malefics because their nature and their goal is to put us into situation we cannot control.
Oh, to put us in a situation we can't control.
Yes. So if you cannot control something, you can be scared, you can be aggressive, you can be distracted by something. So it's always during every Mars transit, when he's in a strong aspect, square, opposite, conjunction to important part of our in our chart, during this transit, usually we have to realize what's going on, and we have to avoid the situation we cannot control. So sometimes we have to wait. And as probably you observed during Mars transit, this is the last thing you can say to your client or to yourself during Mars transit. You have to wait. But usually this is the key.
So this is a real problem for me, because Mars is rules and is transiting my 7th house right now. And the yelling with the husband has gone up a lot lately, but I can't avoid him.
Yes, you can't avoid that. So maybe, you know, because in another part of my lecture, we try to find keys, what to do to avoid big arguments and transform this energy, because this is from humanistic astrology. I strongly believe that we
transformation. You had me at transformation.
Transform some kind of energy if we are conscious of this. So, for example, with Mars in 7th house, it's always a problem with the others because they are in 7th house. Your partner, your family, your business partner, other people, even people you meet on, I don't know, on bus in your time. So the question is what to do with this Mars, how to organize this energy. Maybe it's good time to do something together or to organize and fight with something together.
He's a Gemini, by the way. I think he's attracted to your energy.
Yes. But
he has a little twin sister. She's sick right now.
Yes, oh, I'm sorry about this. Yes, but it's not simply, because when we live, we have no simply method to deal with our problem. But when we analyze Mars, we know how to avoid this kind of situation. And sometimes if you wait 2-3 days, if you, for example, with Mars on Mercury, shut your mouth. You can win a lot.
Mars squares Mercury in my chart. I know this one.
I observe, for example, many friends of mine were in big trouble with work during Mars conjunct the MC. Yes.
Yeah.
So very important moment during this 2-year cycle when you are tired of everything around you. You want to possess elevate position. So to be short, I want to analyze first Mars in natal chart and focus on the main themes about this, because this is your unique way how you react when you are in danger or when you want something. This is very important thing, Mars. It's not necessary, about men in your life, on your husband or something. It could be like this. And during next part of lecture, I want to analyze a few examples of my clients and of my friends and from my life and maybe from the audience. Yes, and analyze the days when something changed now.
Interesting.
So, yes, and at the end of the lecture, I want to show you how I take notes about Mars and how to put the dates, which are important during the transit, which not.
Oh, so you have a running calendar of when to watch out for. Yeah.
Yes, that's very important, especially if you are a professional astrologer and work with people like I do, to give them information about Mars.
Yes.
They have to know which day aren't not so easy. And how to do this, of course. We don't want to scare people about Mars. This is not our goal. We want to inform them how to deal with this energy. And of course, I want to talk about some remedies for Mars.
Oh, I love remedies.
Yes, I love remedies too. But first remedy, of course, it's about to have a goal.
A goal.
A goal.
Taking
yes.
notes here.
Yes, and focus on this goal. It's very important during this transit. And another, to be well dressed during Mars transit, to avoid.
Why that?
Yes, why that? Because when you are well dressed, you look very serious.
True.
And it's not easy attack you. This is simple, but some things I collect from my observation and from life of my clients. It's very important. So I try to share with you about this. And maybe how to deal when what to do when Mars is very strong, like now. It's good time to create Mars talismans, for example, to exercise, maybe a lot to, I don't know, rebuild house or do something, serious work in your garden or something like this, because Mars, it's an energy, it's a fire inside you. So if you have this fire inside you and this fire cannot, spread all over, will burn you and destroy you.
I had a Mars Pluto a few years ago. It's been probably 15 years ago now. And I decided as a young astrologer, a newish astrologer, that I could use that to lose weight. And my teacher, Ina, she'll be listening to this later, said, you can't use Pluto. And I was like, yes, I can. I have Mars and Pluto. They're gonna, and I did. I started walking, a few miles a day, and I dropped a lot of weight,
Yes.
but I had to, the exercise helped, and having a goal helped, and all of that stuff helped me navigate that kind of scary transit,
Yes, but this is beautiful realization of these transits, and it shows us how to coordinate this energy, because you had a goal, yes, and you transform something. So Pluto, it's very big, very powerful energy, bigger than Mars, very bigger than Mars. So you, through this Mars, you reached Pluto energy, and you changed a lot,
And transformation, right?
And you
Pluto,
prove yourself how strong
Pluto was
you
a
are.
guide.
Yes, that's true. But I usually,
I would like to have that transit back. I'll take it again.
Yes,
I got those 30 pounds back I want to get rid of.
Wait for Saturn, for me, Saturn was really, really helpful. But you look beautiful. So question is, now Mars is in Aries. So his energy is really, really strong. But this is not a good moment to act and to take a risk, because Mars square Saturn. Saturn is strong in Capricorn too, square Pluto. So I think that I think this is not a good moment to take a big risk. It's better to wait until Jupiter move into Aquarius. So I think that this kind of energy will be lighter. Of course, we will have another very very unpleasant Mars seasons, when Mars will enter Taurus, where his position is not so strong. So it's hidden Mars in Taurus, and hidden Mars could be really, really dangerous. So as you probably see, I mixed traditional astrology with modern humanistic astrology, and I think that's a good way, to try this. Yes.
I really get that, because I was raised as a modern astrologer, and then transitioned into traditional. So I just naturally mix it, because there's things you don't unlearn, and maybe you don't need to.
Yeah, probably this is all we all are doing. Yes, yes, naturally. I think it's we are now in very, very important moment of history of astrology. When we finally have access to old texts, we have translation into modern languages, English, Italian, even Polish. So we have to learn about our tradition to establish new tradition. So for me, sometimes, it's a moment when I feel like I'm a part of big way of generation of astrologers, and I just join this way.
That we're fortunate. This is a fortunate time to be born.
Yes, and this is why we all astrologers should keep together, work together, organize conferences like this, because this is the place when we can discuss, we can show our view about astrology. Sometimes we can argue, this is natural, sometimes not, but this is
goosebumps.
Great opportunity for us. Yes.
And we have the ability through the internet to reach across the world and share information so much faster. I mean, even translations are going just whip speed compared to how they used to go.
Yes.
So there's almost an avalanche of information all the time.
Yes, that's true, because I'm not, of course, you can hear this, I'm not an English speaking person. So for many people in Poland, in European countries, we have this language barrier. Many people wanted to join and participate conferences, but they have a problem with translation. Here we have of course, this problem, because will be translated into Polish at the same time. but all this internet access, all this international cooperation can resolve this kind of problem.
Yes, I mean we have instant translation now just through Google, don't we?
Yeah. So that's fun, you know, how we can use all this new technique during conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, because I feel, you know, that we can feel this conjunction right now. They are not, of course, in Aquarius today, but I think that this kind of energy emerged from something, and this conference, it's a first step to this.
Milka, you're the first person in weeks that's got me even slightly optimistic about the future.
Yes, because you know I have Jupiter trine Sun, so from
lovely.
one point, yes, I'm very optimistic person, because Jupiter, it's energy which this energy teach me not to think about borders, but to concentrate and to try to find out how to trespass those borders.
And just a lovely thing about the sign of Gemini, for sure. Yeah.
But from other part, I have Saturn conjunct my Mercury in Gemini and my Venus. It's 0-degree conjunction. So I know that everything could be better. Criticize.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yourself. It's a way how Saturn operates. But
yes.
Sometimes we have to stop think about Saturnian things and
yes.
try to get out from the Saturnian box if we want to do something, to achieve something, to feel something.
But Saturn can also be utilized as structure, as discipline, as, you know, many things like that. I work with Saturn weekly, you know, because Saturn, I have too much water, so Saturn is helpful to me.
But you know, Saturn it's not good energy, you know. Of course, Saturn is another topic than Mars, but we need Saturn every day because this is our structure. But question is, when structure became a cage
or a wall, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So now when Jupiter is in Capricorn, so is on exile, his energy is not so strong. So this is why we cannot despair. We have to work, because I think that planet in a weak position show us that we need to work harder and we need to find another way to express this planet. But look what happened in astrological community.
Yes.
We organize conferences through internet. So
yes.
we escaped from this cage of Saturn in Capricorn.
Yes.
We use Jupiter. We used Jupiter power. Yes.
Yes. Good point.
So I think in personal level, you know, we have to think about this every time we have to take decision about something. How to escape from a cage and how to invent something new.
There's going to be a lot of good talks, but this one sounds vital. Like everyone really needs to be looking at their Mars right now, you know, and it's a volatile time and things are changing very rapidly. And our response to change, our response to stress is Mars, you know, is that energy.
Yes, but look what happened in many families during lockdown now, because Mars is a personal planet. So many people express or feel Mars from the first time, you know. But Mars in small apartment, it's a great disaster.
Yeah, you probably just need to remodel something.
Yeah. So I think that we are ready to talk about Mars, because Mars is, of course, it's an energy, but this energy is not always pleasant, not always cultural, not always nice. And during Mars transits, sometimes you have to behave like a strong person. And that's a big problem during this transit, that if you want to possess something, to obtain something, you have to find with others. It's rivalry. This is Mars also.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with
Yeah,
you.
but yeah, so but because we all are cultural person, you know, we all know how to behave. So sometimes it's hard to express.
We know how, we might not actually act that way.
Yes, but you cannot say, for example, for your boss during Mars transit, I do not agree with you.
Well, you can. You just have to be willing to accept the Saturnian consequences of
Yes,
that.
yes, yes. So this is why in our civilization, Western civilization, we need all these gyms, exercises, you know, other things. And some peoples also need computer games. Look how aggressive they are.
They are violent even.
Yes, totally violent, you know.
Hmm.
For example, I observed my friend playing computer game, and he killed 20 person in 10 minutes in this game. 20
Very
person.
satisfying. Do I get to pick the 20 people is all I want to know.
So this is also Mars, you know,
Of
and
course.
also kind of emergency exit for Mars energy.
Oh, good way to put it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
like it.
yeah, so this is what I want to talk with you during the lectures, and maybe show and discuss how Mars can be expressed, how is expressed, because now, of course, we have problem, you know, with Scorpios, because Mars is first ruler of Scorpio. Pluto is second ruler of Scorpio. Yes, but if they ignore Mars, they will use Pluto energy and became more aggressive than others. So we have a lot of topics for the lecture.
My goodness. I thank you so much for talking with us today. Everyone, this is, let's just say Milka Krogulska, and she's going to talk about Mars in transit, work fast, but think twice on November 8th, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Remember, the lecture will be in English, and you can also buy the recording if you feel like sleeping in that day, but be there for her, because I think, you know, she's going to look at charts and maybe your chart, and, you know, maybe you're like me and you're like, oh, please look at my chart. I might even get up early. I don't know.
Yes, oh, I invite you.
But I think it's going to be a wonderful talk. And I thank you again, and welcome to Borders. This is the 5th year, and it's a terrific conference. We blaze the way for what everyone's doing now. This was the first online conference. So
Yes, and thank you very much for inviting me. And I wish you a wonderful time during all lectures, all conference. And Terry, thank you very much for having me for interview with me today. I hope that, because I can talk for ages, I'm Gemini, so just, you know.
you're in good company in this school and in this conference, because there's a ton of Gemini energy, a ton. And I'm mutable too, so I'm cool with it. Thanks, honey. Next UAC, we're going to have coffee.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.